to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of simple popping it like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pencil. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up if we running and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me is never the
Tuesday nights here, and I am Andrew LeDuc, aka Mr. Mal. This is Bud Copeland, and this is Divots and Pivots on That Sports Podcast Network, and as always, also on Golfer Gang Network for your audio ear listeners, only on all your podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, wherever you choose to listen, and brought to you, as always, by Acorn Hills, acornhillsco.com. Get over there, use discount code TBFY15 for 15% off on your order. Get your new swag just in time for the home stretch of the golf season, for fall golf to start. They got you covered over there. Go check out what Nate and the boys are cooking up at Acorn Hills. Bud, beautiful backyard fire pit you got going on. How are you this evening before we get into the playoff talk of the PGA Tour, the FedEx Cup? How are things going over in the new state?
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be happier. Always a beautiful day in the state of Maine, as a good friend of mine likes to say.
It is.
Actually, really, I think, what is this updated August 3rd? Let's just get it out of the way. I want to know, pulse check. We got how many weeks we got left until the U.S. Ryder Cup team is locked in? Don't we go through
what I just pulled up too?
We go through, I think, the two, like into the Tour Championship, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That at that point, the top six are locked in, and then I think we play the Tour Champ, whatever the fuck it is. Captain Keegan's still sitting at 10.
Mm-hmm. He's there.
Right now. I said last week he's not on the team. Right now, he's not on the team.
Mm-hmm.
1 week later, what do you think? Is Captain Keegan on the team? Playing. Sorry. Somebody's like, oh, technically, if he's a captain.
Well, yeah, I know what you meant. I'm not that guy.
Let's be honest, Andrew. Not the majority of Americans have your level of wit and wisdom. So I appreciate you being bashful and humble. But back to my question that you're tiptoeing around. Keegan on the team, not on the team.
I still want him to be a playing captain as of right now.
So do I. I want him to. I just don't think that right now it's going to happen.
So I still think it's going to happen as of right now. I'm not convinced it's going to stay that way because if someone like Chris Gotterup and Wyndham Clark, Sam Burns, if these guys continue to be playing well over this stretch of the playoffs here, it's going to be a hard to pass up on those guys. And Keegan will have that in his head that I've said all the time that he's aware of guys deserving the spot and there not being enough spots. So I know he will give up his own spot for somebody else if he feels like they also deserve it. I just have that feeling. So with guys like Cameron Young now getting his first win and Chris Gotterup just been playing well and Ben Griffin's still in the mix, like these are guys that he's going to be thinking about, going to say that they've played well enough this year. Like Ben Griffin having 2 wins this year is going to be really hard for Keegan to overlook. So it's getting harder and harder for him to convince himself that he is on this team, unfortunately. I still think as of right now, he's on it. But I have a feeling by the end of this month here, he's going to leave himself off, unfortunately.
A couple things there, and now that's why I lost track of it in your long-winded answer to he's on the team right now. I still don't think he is. I've got like 1 foot over the fence into now it kind of checks out. I agree with you that he's got to watch and see who's playing hot right now in relation to the points. He doesn't. Like I said last week, he doesn't want the appearance of I'm going to take a spot because I got, shafted, even though. So I think if Captain Keegs can, where is he in the FedEx Cup points?
Well, good point. Let me, let's see, FedEx Cup rankings. So he right now in the FedEx Cup rankings he's 10th. Also 10th there.
Okay, so so he's going to go to East Lake. If he's even in a conversation in the next couple of weeks, he's in, because I think it's enough. It's enough recency bias, whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. Get rid of Brian Harmon. Get rid of Maverick McNeely. Andrew Novak. I think that's the other one of the other names. That's
those
right
are
there,
kind of the three first out for me, honestly. Those three.
if those three are out, so we got JT and Colin and Ben Griffin in, and then Maverick, Brian, and Andrew out, you're saying just keep Keegan in there. So really, we're picking two.
Which
as of this week in our little mock draft.
Yep.
All right. So if there's two spots,
and it would be Cantlay and Young for me. I said last week that I needed Cameron Young to show me over this playoff stretch that he's that edge, and he showed us in a big way. I know it's only the Wyndham Championship. I know it wasn't anything crazy big as far as a prestigious tournament, but it's big enough, and he won by enough that it proved it to me that he's turned it up and he's ready. So Cameron Young now gets that spot with me with Patrick Allen.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and just do my 180 right now. Captain Keegan on the team playing. I don't see now. To your point, you mentioned a couple of players, and this is the question I wanted to give. Because last week I was saying Sam Burns and Daniel Berger would be a couple of my guys that I'd be looking at on top of Patrick Cantlay. Obviously with Cam Young's play, I swap one of those guys out and then put Keegan in there as well for holding steady for right now. You mentioned Wyndham Clark.
Right.
I think that after what happened at Oakmont, even if he were to, I mean, I don't know what the point situation is like if he would be able to win his way in the top six. Like if he won the next two events, is he all of a sudden in the top six? Maybe. Maybe, but I don't think there's a universe you can pick him for this, given what happened at Oakmont. I think that when you look around the other guys that are right around him, I'll go back to Gotterup, Berger.
Yeah. He's 49th in the FedEx right now too, so he's gonna work this. He's gonna work over the next.
Yeah, he's out of there. Wyndham Clark, no way.
That was the only universe I was saying is if he turns it on and does what we've seen him do in the past.
Well, if he does what Cam Young did, just go out there and win right now. Recency bias. We'll put you on the team.
So I think there is a universe and there's a path. He's not there yet, but I was just mentioning guys who I think have the capability of in the coming weeks here showing us something and flying up the rankings a little bit to give themselves an argument. That's all. But yeah, Cam Young, impressive victory. He gets his first PGA victory, which is fantastic. We've had a couple of those this year, so love to see that. And Cameron Young feels like he's someone who has just been scratching at that itch for a while now. He's been right there a bunch of times. He's always a popular name as a value play in the majors from a betting standpoint because everyone knows he's got it. And he just needed to show everybody that he had that little extra gear in him. And I don't know what it was about this week. As a whole, he's been very steady this year, but I'd say that's honestly been pretty standard for his career for the last few years. So I don't think anything necessarily changed other than he just went out there and put it all together for the first, not for the first, but you know what I mean? Enough to win. So I'm happy for the guy. I think he would be a great ad for the Ryder Cup team. I like it. And the other side story of the Wyndham Championship was Joel Dahman having himself a good week, 1 week removed from the big caddy change, which made big news just basically because of their time on Full Swing together, their relationship, and they said it was a very amicable kind of split. They both understood it was time for a change and whatnot. And Joel Dahman goes out there with new caddy and is able to do something we haven't seen him do too much this year and really be in the mix. I know he faded there when Cam Young took off, but Joel Dahman being there, I think was another storyline that we see time and time again. I'll be curious to see if it's just a temporary little jump of a new caddy or if it fades, or if this is something that we're going to get a nice little run out of Dahman, because I think we can all agree Dahman's got some chops. It's all been kind of between the ears for him, which he's admitted, and I'm curious to see what his path looks like going forward.
It is going to be interesting because he's going to miss the playoffs, which, have fun. I think this is a good sign. We all like him. He is the kind of guy that we wish was playing well enough to be in the consideration for the Ryder Cup, because we know what he could. Right. Ryder Cup is half that shit is about the vibe, as the kids would say. Is the team clicking? Is the atmosphere right? Are the players putting on a performance worthy of the energy you need? Kind of like what we saw in Rome, where every time that the USA would come up for a breath, there would just come another haymaker somewhere. And it all just seemed to connect. And so I do think that Joel is just one of those names, personalities, players. And he also seems to be one of the more likable guys on tour around. We saw that in Full Swing, where the players were kind of like, dude, you're more than just the funny guy. You're more than just the broski. Like, you can play this game, kid. And perhaps perhaps, because people also forget this. Tiger Woods went on that run with Stevie. He went pro with Fluff, Mike Cowan, who's still out there, I think at like 82 or whatever, 78 looping.
Right.
I think he just hung it up for Jim Furyk, but he kind of ad hoc comes and goes. Joel could have just needed Gino to get started, and perhaps then it became that thing where it's like, listen, man, we're good buddies, probably business partners somewhere. I couldn't imagine them not having some sort of interest in all those little side deals that go on. And so maybe it just got to the point where it's like, dude, we got to stop or else something's going to give. He's like, the golf is giving right now. And if we fix the golf, that means something else has got to give. And we don't want to sacrifice our friendship or this. And maybe it was just the relief. He's finally like, oh shit, now it's just me. But I have, like, in his mind, me is enough. I have enough now to go out there and do what I need to do. So best of luck in the off season. We'll see what happens with the fall swing. I know it's going to be interesting. I can't remember off the top of my head what they're doing, but there is going to be more influence on this fall swing on those guys who finish outside the playoffs, but don't necessarily guarantee, full status or whatever the hell it's called. The other side of that is back to Cam Young real quick. He's a fascinating guy because on paper you might even be like, rich kid. I mean, his dad was the head pro at Sleepy Hollow, which is one of the most exclusive golf clubs in the country. Right. He went to Fordham Prep in New York, and then he went to Wake Forest. These are not exactly the markers of what, we've come to be like, oh man, underdog story. But what I say is, who gives a shit? I'm so happy for him because, again, of what it's going to mean for golf. We've got another star in the making. Cam Young's not the kind of guy with that many seconds. Watch out for him to go on a little run. Who the hell knows where it could take him? And that's why I think that he's just one more symptom of the dominance of the PGA Tour. CBS, real quick, just to pivot, off of the Wyndham. CBS just released their numbers talking about this is the highest ratings they've had since like 2019. I think since pre-COVID, this is the highest rate. And you look back, we talked about it the other day, where last year was the year that Scotty went nuts and had his 8-9 wins and this, that, and the other. This year, and it wasn't like Scotty fumbled. He didn't fumble anywhere. He competed everywhere, and he gobbled up some wins and some big ones. Right. Yeah. But the fact that we had Ben Griffin come out there, we've got Cam Young, putting that bookend to the PGA Tour regular season with a story that we've been waiting for forever. 6, 7, 8 runner up. A couple of them have just been brutal. And now the guy gets through. Golf is in a phenomenal spot. I was on with our boy Jeff from the Golfer Gang Network on his 2-man scramble. We were just doing a season recap, and he asked a great question, like, where is golf right now? And golf, quote unquote, writ large, is in a phenomenal spot. The PGA Tour is leading the way. I don't think golf would be in a good place if the PGA Tour ever is not in a good place. And to add insult to injury, you have Liv, who has announced, they just made an announcement about all this revenue they're generating through partnerships and deals, which is all that kind of promised money, potential money.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the PIF has said no new money's coming at you. They announced that they're not going to be doing upfront money with contracts, which we'll see if the opportunity is enough to attract. I think they might still have a product. But somebody said it the other day, there is no avenue for them to develop their own stars, and the stars that they have are fading. And their recent, it's like their recent ringer, Joaquin Neiman. Oh, you better watch out. He's won 5 times in 11 tournaments.
Yeah. You can't cut it over here anymore.
Yeah. And we've seen this over and over and over and over again. And I think that the reason that Brooks and Bryson are the exceptions is because they've stayed in touch, relevant, and maybe mentally sharp and connected in a way that some of those other guys maybe haven't, because they're isolated, siloed. However, maybe that's what they signed up for. Maybe Cam Young could not give 2 fucks, and he's like, listen, I want a claret jug. I was one of the best players on the planet for a hot minute. I'm going to go down under with $100 million and just never have to do anything ever again in my life. Me and my mates are going to play golf. I respect that if that's the case, because I'll tell you what, you ain't hearing too many arguments in favor of Live or this, or I think they put mergers, everything's squashed. And then here comes Happy Gilmore. And the only 2 guys who were real sparks in the talent pool, you had Bubba in there and everything like that. Sure. But they're out there fighting for traditional golf. I think that the
I know.
writings on the
There was
wall were
something
bad.
there.
One thing that I wish that the PGA Tour would look at going into next year after this fall, like we're gonna have fun at the playoffs or the playoffs, and we'll do some bubble watching, mostly for these first 2 weeks, because honestly, like Rory pieced, he took the week off. Hey, don't need to
I
be
know.
there because of the points. I'm okay with that. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get
But
to that. Yeah.
when they start looking ahead, I think the game I think they're kind of limited when they're shutting things down, in August, because they just don't want to go up against the big bad football beast. I think
Sure.
with TGL and this kind of new side season they're creating, I hope to see much more competitive golf throughout the fall and less of this just kind of participation trophy, etc., and celebrity golf. Although I am looking forward to the PNC. So yeah, dude, golf's in a great space.
I agree.
Good for Cam Young, the kid from Sleepy Hollow. And like you said, I'm glad you threw. I wasn't even thinking about Joel
Yeah.
Damon, and then you put that out there, and I'm like, you know what? Real funny fact: Gino Benali, his caddy, has a either interest stake or it hits his company underwear brand called Two Below.
Oh,
Or
does he
two
really?
under, two under. Yeah, I've got a
Two
pair of
under.
them. They're actually super comfortable. They've got
I-
these little like liners on the side of your to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
hold on to the
Yeah.
the goods.
I am a sucker for a creative brand, and Two
Yeah.
Under coming from a guy from the golf world. I freaking love that for an underwear.
Yeah,
name.
it's great.
So I'm gonna have to go out
I'll
and
eat
check
that
this
shit
one
up.
out.
I mean, nothing's as fresh as the new stuff from Acorn Hills.
Never.
AcornHillsCo.com, TBFY 15 for 15% off.
They got
I
any
sent you
underwear up there yet? We got to get them to get some underwear up there.
some undies. That's
Yeah,
his
get
next.
some
That's his
Acorn
next
Hill.
move, Nate. Performance underwear. Let's see. Black Keys.
I
What
love
the
that.
fuck did I say? Putt.
Well, so you wanted to talk
Jesus.
about Gary Woodland too, which
Oof.
when you at the time that you sent the text, I got why it made sense. You wanted to talk about Gary Woodland making his first playoff for the first time since brain surgery. In the end, he unfortunately just missed out.
No.
Coming in at
I wasn't paying
72.
attention.
Yeah, he came in at 72. He about 21 points behind Matty Schmid, who got the last spot over both Davis Thompson and Gary Woodland. So Gary Woodland, unfortunately, will not be making a playoff appearance this year. Other notable guys who just missed out, along with Gary Woodland, Nikolai Højgaard also just missed out at 73. Keith Mitchell just missed out at 75. Let's see. Those were probably the biggest names right on the bubble, I'd say. Someone who did have a good year, but I just don't think he played enough to get points was Sammy Valimaki. So he missed out as well. But yeah, those are the kind of the main guys right there on the bubble. Joel Diamond was 93. For anyone wondering how far out of the playoffs he was, 93 is where he was. But then just sneaking in, like I said, Matty Schmid comes in at 70, Cam Davis 69, Eric Van Rooyen 68. Emiliano Grillo 67. Ricky Fowler sneaks in there at 64 as well, so that's great.
I love that Ricky's back. Come on,
Ricky's
Rick.
back.
There's a dark horse name. What if he were to snag one or two of these wins and just shoot up the rankings? Is BDR enough to just get him? Is he the guy you don't leave Ricky at home when he's rolling the rock like this? I would love it. Not going to happen. Dark horse candidate for it though.
That would be so crazy. But I would love to see a Ricky Fowler run here in the playoffs. Why not? That'd be fantastic.
Of course.
And then I'd say the guy who made the biggest push here with his finish here this past week, I believe he ended up finishing second, was Nico Echevarria. I think I said that right. Echevarria, whatever. He got himself all the way up to 62nd, so he's in the playoffs now. After that fantastic week he just had at the Wyndham alongside Cameron Young. So yeah, those were kind of the bubble guys we're looking at now. With the current setup, we need the top 50 after this week. We'll move on to the BMW Championship. So if you're unfamiliar, that's the way it's set up. And you did mention Rory sitting out this week, and it does. I feel like we talk about this every year, but it's something that comes up every year for good reason. And I wanted to bring it up. It was Rick Gemmon from Rick Run Good on TikTok. He's part of the CBS golf coverage team now. So it's been fun to watch his rise and to this, but so I love that. But he put out a post the other day that I thought was very interesting. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it. I think I'm on the fence with it, honestly. It sounds like you're fine with it. But he proposes that the one problem with the FedEx Cup playoffs right now is the fact that guys like Rory McIlroy, up to near the top of the FedEx rankings, sit out a week, and it's a playoffs without all the best players playing. And he proposes that a way to solve that, to make sure everybody plays, is that once the playoffs start, FedEx Cup points go away and everyone starts fresh, just with, from where they are in the top 50 in this singular tournament, move on to the next, and the points don't matter anymore.
100% think that should be the next wave, the next iteration of this. It's not like, I would say meet in the middle. I think because I could counter real quick and say, really, the 1 and 2 seeds in the NFL are the one they get buys. So
Sure.
maybe top 10 do just get a buy. They just get the buy. There's the incentive. Work your ass off. If you're
mathematically, the tour would want that too. The tour wants those guys to go as far as they can. If you want to talk about it from that
so there
standpoint.
just is, because there's enough juice in the rankings from 15 to 70 or 80, or 15 to 70. I guess we wouldn't go anymore. There's enough juice in there to fuel a tournament of this ilk. I said, kind of side-handedly, I have no problem with him missing it, because those are the rules. All right, like what he's going to do with the best interest, we can't cry about it. But I also agree that it needs to change, because I would much rather see more riding on it. I love the reset. Again, maybe you don't reset everybody, because even in other pro sports, they have those first round buys. So again, top 10 maybe get through, and they automatically, and then
the regular season's got to be worth something in the end, right? Like, it has to be worth something more than just a ticket with another 70 guys.
Exactly. So maybe there is something in there where you're guaranteed a spot in the top 50, and the way that they do your points is they just go by like whatever scores they do with averages, whatever. You can get some fucking nerd in there to mathematically model it out. But I love that idea, because the playoffs need to keep evolving. It was cool enough when we first got these things 20 years ago or whatever it was. And it was just this kind of new idea. Great. Now it's getting a little stale, or it got stale every once in a while. Talked about the years where Vijay Singh skipped 2 tournaments, or I think he skipped even maybe the tour championship and still won the whole thing, or and we've kind of got that
seem right.
And we keep tweaking it. We've kind of got it figured out with this top 30, and now that we've done away with the tiered start, which I think was the right call as well, it's in a good position to maybe say, okay, what's next? So good on you for Rick for pushing that to the end. Because these next 2 weeks, it's not like, I will say the FedEx St. Jude, it's a tradition unlike any other. Where are they? Memphis? Is that where we are? TPC Southland or TPC Summerlin? Because then next week they're in Caves Valley outside of DC. I think it's Baltimore, outside of that area.
TPC Southwind,
Yeah. Okay. So they're in TPC Southwind. This is not exactly a super challenging course. I remember on Tiger Woods, this would be one of those where you kind of go, all right, I guess we'll play it if you're playing with somebody new, because it's not that hard. And so this is going to be the next thing, is let's take a look at these FedEx Cup playoff locations. And I know they got partnerships and they got contracts and they got deals, but I'll tell you what, after watching enough college football and the evolution of the college football playoff, contracts were meant to be broken, right? I mean, the marriage rates, let's look at that. Just kidding. Too soon. But I think that's the next evolution too. Let's change the structure and the format to make it more competitive on paper.
Yeah.
But then visually, and also maybe just challenging wise, let's just start throwing curveballs at them. Let's maybe not announce these locations. Let's just not announce it, the whole year. You just get a punch ticket to the playoffs. And then, you can either, once you know you're in, we'll give you the locations and your private jet can adjust accordingly, or we'll guarantee a charter from the last tournament to all these tournaments, but we're not going to tell you where they are. So you can't really prep that much ahead. It's just gonna be a crapshoot. So it's like, okay, shit, round 1, we're going to Oklahoma, to Southern Hills, for go to these major locations that might not be hosting a major anytime soon. So I look forward to what can keep happening. And when you pull in a number like CBS just announced, and you see the dwindling competitiveness of other things, and the partnership coming from some of these potential competitors with the Creator Classic, they just announced the field for the latest one. And what I like seeing there is, me being a guy who lives some time online, especially in the golf world, there were some names on there. I was like, who the fuck is this person? Then again, have been moving recently, if you haven't paid attention, which City Studios, rip. So the new Creator Classic has got some familiar names in there, obviously, but then it's got
Yeah, I
some
wanna
folks
bring
where I'm
that up
like, I
next.
don't know, this is they got the heavy guys, Garrett Clark, Roger Steele,
Yeah.
Gabby Golf Girl, some of these names that we've seen before. But then I can't even tell you who some of these folks were, and haven't had time to look them up. And I think that's exciting. I think because there's going to be, there's going to be kind of a point where exposure is not important for some of these content creators, or they're going to want certain things that the tours gonna be like, pound sand.
Yeah.
But then like a guy like Garrett Clark with Good, he doesn't need this exposure, but this is
No,
great
not at
for
all.
him. Yeah, this is part of his business and his partnership. And so, it gives hope to all the knuckleheads like us out there who are like, wait a minute, I want to do videos and like play golf and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That kid works his ass off. Most of
He
those guys
does,
do.
he
You don't
does.
get successful by just falling backwards into it. So Creator Classic is another example of just how the Live can do the duels all they want, but we'll watch
Mhm.
Fat Perez and Sergio Garcia go at it only so much. That was
100% not-
mean. Fat didn't.
It
He
was.
didn't deserve that. He didn't
So
deserve
I
that.
did want to check, was Perez on the latest Creator Classic?
I think I did
list?
see his name on there. Let's see that. Who's the.
So I'm trying to find the actual list I started earlier. Now I can't get the full. I can't seem to find the full list now. Star-studded.
This is some of the best smelling stuff in the world. Hold on, I got to get some of this like bug defogger out here because normally we have a fire going, but the mosquitoes have come out.
Yes. Let's see. Where?
It's
Okay,
loud.
yeah. So George. Okay, so because they're doing it at. Yeah, so they're doing it at TPC Sawgrass this time. Correct. Yeah. So yeah, Fat Perez.
Why are they at
there.
Sawgrass?
That is the Creator format field unveiled for Creator Classic at TPC Sawgrass for March 10th to the 15th, 2026. So why they're there? Yeah. So it's just the players. Yeah, so they're opening for the players basically. Yeah. So but Perez isn't there, which I was curious because after the whole debacle with I know he's not a PGA guy, but he's pretty locked in with the Wesley Bryan crew at this point. Him and George, they do a lot of videos together now. Bob does,
yeah, because all these guys
bros.
live. Yeah, they all live near each other now in Arizona or down in
Yeah, well,
Florida. No, I was talking about.
But they travel together a lot too. So
I was talking about actually for Eastlake for the Tour Championship, the field this year.
Oh, for that one. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the one that just got announced like today. That's the one that I think is for March.
Oh, no, this is just yesterday they announced the Atlanta crew, which is going to be if you remember returning players, Luke Kwan's coming back,
Sure.
Tisha Alin, Sabrina Andolfo. Don't know who that is. Gabby Golf Girl, Peter Finch, Micah Morris, Chris Solomon of No Laying Up, Roger Steele, Garrett Clark, Brad Dalkey, Sean Welsh, the Short Game King, Daniel Solvener. Let's see. And then I think that's going to be it. Yeah, so 10 through 17, and then 18 for a playoff, 100 grand. It's be pretty dope. So there you have it, folks. The Creators Classic is back.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of the YouTube golf world, I am starting to get annoyed with Wesley Bryan.
Why?
Like, I know I watch a lot more YouTube golf than you do. And I'm not sure if he was always this way and I just saw less of him, so I didn't notice it, but I'm seeing more and more of him because, like I said, because Bob Does Sports is the top golf channel I watch. I just find it wildly entertaining and relatable and fun. And they are doing a lot of videos with the Bryan Bros and with Grant Horvat now. They're all kind of these partners in crime, if you can say. God, Wesley comes off as quite a bit of an arrogant prick sometimes, if I must say so. And I don't want to I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just making an observation of he's starting to get unlikable a bit. And part of what made the Bryan Bros channel kind of fun and entertaining was the banter and the trash talk between him and George. That was that brotherly battle.
The brotherly shit.
Yeah, and that was fun, and you sense that it was brotherly, but for some reason, he really tries to get in other players' heads, which once again, it's fine. It's have fun with it. The other guys love it, whatever. But I'm just, for some reason, he's starting to come off as a little annoying to me, and that's just a personal feeling. But as I watch the videos with him in it now, I'm find myself rooting against him. Is all I'm trying to say.
I'm with you because two reasons. A, he lost me a little bit when he tried to, I don't even know. And when
more about it than it should have been.
Yeah, duels and the PGA Tour
Yeah.
and the suspension and this, that, and the other. You know, great. That's how you maximize your view. Is right.
It felt clickbaity by him. It felt low.
It's not even just him though. With when you're talking about the other thing, the trash talking, I just don't like people who trash talk on the golf course like that. Like who try to get in each other's heads and try to talk shit. Like it was never a thing. Like I always would just like kind of give people thumbs up or the finger or just laugh or smile and say cheer up. Because to me, it is a little classless. It's a little lacking of grace. It's a little and by the way, people will be like, oh, it's all good fun, man. To each their own. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but if you do it to me and I don't respond or I don't play into it and I just kind of smile at you, I'm not the asshole. It's just kind of like one of those things like, all right, dude, I'll be an asshole for other reasons. So I'm kind of with you there because when I see people go that route, and I play golf with these folks who that's all they want to do is chirp, chirp, chirp. And it's a personality thing, man. Like, good for you. Have fun. I'm sure there are things in their lives that I would do that are just mind numbing and beyond, comprehension. So if that's where you want to put your energy on the golf course, I'd much rather just ask you questions about your personal life and be like, hey, where'd you grow up? What do you like doing? What was that like? Yada, yada, yada. Golf is hard enough. Why would you intentionally try to make it hard for somebody? Like, you're just being a dick. Oh, it's a competitive edge. Yeah, you're right. It is a competitive edge.
Fine. Sure,
and multiple things can be true at the same time. And you're being a dick.
And you still lost Joey Coldcuts and Bobby Fairways with strokes, with them only getting 4 strokes in the recent videos.
I can't throw shade at people for losing golf matches, man. It's,
I know,
again, it's a hard game. But like I agree with you there, man. Like if that's your style, if that's how you want to try to get views, good on you. Have fun with it. You'll get the right people, turned off, and you'll get the wrong people turned on. And at the end of the day, we'll all go through life. So,
actually, I'm still gonna watch Bob Does Sports videos, even if they're in it. I'm just not going out of my way to watch Bryan Brothers videos because it's just not the style that I'm wanting to watch. I want to watch that fun, laid back, and goofy, which is exactly what Fat Perez, Bob, and Joey give you.
I don't mind throwing shade at your buddies after a shot has been hit. Hell,
exactly.
I'll take it. If I block something out to the right, especially if I'm sitting there being like, all right, I'm gonna hit a little take a little 8-iron, I think I'm gonna take a little bit off of it and just kind of fade it in there. And then if I just fucking hook it left and somebody's like, hey man, you didn't cut it. That wasn't a cut. Yeah, exactly. I have to just be like, yes, you are right, and just own it because shut the fuck up, man. No, I mean, because to me, that's okay. It's after the fact, I can kind of deal with it. It's the people who looking up to it or working up to a shot want to just say things like, I don't know, man, those last 3 pulls to the left, got to be making you think you don't want to hit in that water over there.
It's kind of like the classic comedian response to a heckler, like, nothing you say right now is nothing I've never said to myself 6 inches from a mirror before. So, like,
yeah, what are we doing here?
Like, guess what? This stuff's already in my head. Zip it. I got it.
All right, quick pivot here back to something else. The Ryder Cup year. We were talking about the Ryder Cup earlier. All right, cool. We're both predicting Captain Keegs on the team. We kind of actually see eye to eye on everything right now, because I think it's kind of obvious. I think when you and I were talking it through, those are some obvious names where it's like Mav McNeely, not yet. Had you won this week instead of Cam Young, maybe, or had it been trending that way, great. Every time they do the Ryder Cup recently, let's see, when did this thing start? They do also the Junior Ryder Cup, and if you look at the Junior Ryder Cup, let's see, what is this? This is the 2025. Oh, come on,
that was big news this weekend. Actually, that kept popping up all over the place.
What, the Junior Ryder Cup?
The race for the final spots, because obviously who was involved. But go ahead.
Yeah, so 2018. Let's see here. 1997. So that was 1997 was the inception of the Junior Ryder Cup, and it is going. Let's see, tournament established. 2018 format history. Yeah, so it's going on. Next one's going to be. It was in Marco Simone. Where's the next one? Anyways, when the teams were getting announced, it's people like Miles Russell. It's these world-class juniors. And if you look back through the history, Cam Young was on the Junior Ryder Cup when he was a kid. So it's a stepping stone. Scotty Scheffler, all those guys. There was a storyline going out on because recently Tiger's son Charlie has started to play, pretty well in some of these state amateurs,
They're
national
playing
amateur qualifiers.
Nassau Country Club this year.
Nassau Country Club, yeah. So it's going to be
And
nearby.
actually, they're playing both Nassau. They actually are playing Bethpage back as well. They're playing.
Yeah,
both
they
Nassau.
do. I think they do singles at Bethpage. So Charlie's been out there and he's been playing well. And when you're the son of Tiger Woods, you're gonna be on the radar, especially if you're trying to play dad's sport. Dan Rappaport, of Scratch, formerly of Barstool, and now he's with Scratch / the PGA Tour. God love him. He pointed something out that because there's a storyline going on. Charlie actually was in a position that if he finished T2 or better at this last weekend's Junior PGA Championship, which again, the Junior Ryder Cup is just like the main Ryder Cup. There's all these different tournaments in the AJGA, the American Junior Golf Association, AJGA, state amateurs, yada, yada, yada. You can earn points to get on the team. And I guess if Charlie finished second or better, he was going to make the team. So somebody decided after that didn't happen, because he was in at one point, he was tied for second, I think, going into the final day, maybe.
He had an amazing run on Saturday. He shot like a 64 or something like he shot something
crazy. Yeah.
He went off.
And then he just didn't finish T2 or whatever he needed to. And somebody decided to lead with that. Charlie Woods, falters, misses out on Junior Ryder Cup.
It's an easy headline. It's an easy headline.
Danny Rapp was about to blow a gasket, and I don't blame him. At the end of the day, these are still kids. And it's not the same as the duality of Scotty Scheffler making or missing something, both being equally as a big story because he's a grown-ass man. At the end of the day, Charlie's still a kid. I don't care that his dad is Tiger. To try to lead with his failure as some sort of story, and the only way that I would see if it was acceptable is if all of a sudden he was in a playoff, and because it was a 3-way playoff, I guess there's no ties. He technically finished third after he lipped out a 2-footer in this agonizing, and you presented it as such, like Charlie runs out of steam, heroic attempt at blah blah blah. Great, but to try to lead with that, I think is just low. I don't think there's anybody out there agreeing with it. I just felt like it was worth mentioning because we're going to see his name more. If you're this talented and this good in this atmosphere, with the kind of resources and time that this kid's going to have and the pedigree, et cetera, he's going to be a competitive golfer. He's probably going to be a professional golfer. It would not surprise me one bit. But just sorry, that got me all worked up, because I think as a dad, you're like, dude, get bent. Like, you are some grown ass person decided to say like, ooh, did you see? But then again, I also think about the local sports writer who's got to write about the football team. It's no different than if the kid strikes out at the end of the game. You don't say, Bud strikes out to lose the state title. You say Andrew strikes out the final hitter to clinch state title. Right. It's just all about, I think, positivity and kind of angle and that mindset of what it means to be a winner. Damn, went deep in somewhere else for a little bit there, but
no, I agree
with the kids.
Well, I agree with that, because I actually just saw a TikTok video, just pretty much right before the show started. It was a clip from the Little League World Series. It's probably still the regionals, but because I don't think it's actually fully started yet. But I saw a clip where the team from Oklahoma was trying to, the guy on second was trying to signal into the batter the pitch that he was basically trying to steal the signs from the catcher and signal into the batter what was coming.
Yeah, we see that shit.
Yeah, we all did. As a catcher, I actually used to love. One of my favorite things was watching the third base coach and trying to learn their signs for steals and whatnot, and bunting, and just standing up and yelling.
Fastball off speed. Fastball off speed. Right hand was inside. It was very simple system. Because if they're out there, they're out there. That's part of the game.
And it's big news right now because all of the MLB teams are getting pissed off, specifically at the Red Sox for having a knack for stealing signs and getting them in and whatnot, which I think is fine as part of the game. But apparently it is still illegal at the Little League level. It is not allowed at the Little League level. So whatever. Oklahoma's got caught doing it. They were given a warning. They got caught in the same game again doing it, and the coach got ejected. The crowd, though, this poor kid who got caught the second time, standing on second base now while the coaches get, protesting the call and whatnot. The crowd starts chanting, "You can't do that," over and over again. And the poor kid's standing there. And then this is where I say credit to the PA announcer. And because as this is going on, the broadcast announcers are saying, like, okay, this is awful. Like they're going to taunt a 12-year-old kid right now. They're saying that. The PA announcer, within probably 20 seconds, cut the music, came up and said, "I would like to remind everybody, this is a good time to remember sportsmanship," and left it at that, cut it off right there. And, it's right, because there's no money riding on this. There's maybe some futures are going to come out of this, but realistically, there's really no future coming out of this. Like, these are kids who, a lot of the kids on the junior tour, yeah, a lot of them are going to go pro. But a lot of them are going to get as far as the NCAA, and they're going to stop after that.
99% of them are not going to go pro. Like,
exactly.
The numbers bear it out. Like, most of them are just not.
So let's let them stay in love with the game and stop, attacking them until, honestly, they make the money to where they're asking to be attacked. So I 100% agree with you. Let the kids be kids.
Losers. Those kind of adults are just losers who,
yes,
they got weak problems of their own. All right, another pivot to something a little more exciting and fun.
Before you go there, real fast, just because as we're talking about younger golfers, and I'm going to pivot quickly into the amateur status, because one guy needs to be mentioned. Now that the playoffs have started, I don't believe he made the playoffs. He's not eligible. He's an amateur still. But the season he had needs to be mentioned, especially after the finish he had this past week. Jackson Koiven. It's a guy you've mentioned many times on the show. He's up and coming. He's a no-doubter superstar coming into the league eventually here. Koiven, as an amateur, 6 events this year, made the cut in 5 of them, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s. I'm sorry, the kid is a stud. He just needs to be talked about more. He needs to be given his due. He finished T5 at the Wyndham this week, T6 at the ISCO Championship before that. So you know what? Just he went on a run here to finish T11, T6, T5 after he missed the cut at the U.S. Open. So I just wanted to give the shout out to Jackson Koiven because he's watching. That's a guy.
Absolutely.
That's a guy that is
War Eagle.
100% a face of the future of golf. So you just got to love to see it. And now I'll let you pivot to wherever you want to pivot to. Drive the bus.
No, I love that's a good pull from Jackson Koiven because he's got his tour status locked up. It's waiting for him when he graduates or whenever he wants to take it. And he's still a young kid. He's an up and comer. And as we pointed out earlier, or as I referenced earlier, Liv has no way to create their own stars. Meanwhile, we got Jackson Koiven, we got what's his face, Neil Shipley out there. We got Luke Clanton just went pro. Obviously Ludwig Oberg. So nice pull there. Now the pivot was going to be over to, speaking of Liv, a former Liv Tour, not gonna say star or standout, but Chase Koepka. Chase Koepka has he has Monday qualified for this week's Korn Ferry Tour event. And so which I think is good for him. Little brother, big brother shadow, all this kind of stuff. He's still a damn talented golfer. He's been a pro golfer for a long time. Went and got a little payday at Liv. Don't blame him one bit. And now he's trying to kind of get his way back to the PGA Tour like everybody else. And I'm kind of laughing because what if Chase gets back before Brooksy does? Like that's the question of the day. Yeah. Which Koepka gets their tour card first?
That would be kind of funny. But this is the situation where I think it does make sense for a guy on the level of Chase Koepka's status at the time that he took that deal. I'm not sure whether if he did or didn't go to Liv at the time that he did, if he'd be necessarily any further along in his career than he is this current week, Monday qualifying for the Korn Ferry Tour.
No,
great golfer, but he may have been here anyway. So the fact that he got paid a bunch of money, and then is still doing where he would have been anyways, compared to not getting paid a bunch of money and still being here, it's a no-brainer. It makes a ton of sense for a guy like that.
I mean, I don't even know if he'd be this far if he didn't have that live opportunity. He might
It's
have
very true,
quit.
yeah.
He might have been. He might have
I'm
quit
just saying,
golf.
I don't think he would have been further
gone
than this,
and
you know?
worked for his brother full time or gone and sold insurance or some shit. But so
Yeah.
good for Chase Koepka. He's going to be at the Corn Ferry Tour event. And I keep saying the Corn Ferry Tour event because I have no idea where they are or what tournament they're playing.
I don't
We
even care
are
enough to look
in
it up either, so.
playoff mode ourselves. Let's see what else is floating around out there in the golf world. We had Charlie Hull almost make every man's dream come true, but she finished, I want to say, runner-up or third in the who won the AIG Women's Open. Women's Open.
I was actually watching a little bit of that.
She did finish runner-up. She finished 2 back. I was all there for it. I don't even know this chick who won. Pardon. Miyu Yamashita.
Yep.
All right, Yimu Yamashita, Japanese professional golfer. Japan, the Japanese ladies have kind of taken over. Korean women had this hold on women's golf for a while.
The 3 of them were in the top 5.
Exactly. Let's see
Where's
here.
the American was the closest in 6. T6 was.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I mean, and we're still in good shape when it comes to the global game. The in the LPGA Tour world, the Asian women have been prominent, if not dominant, for a long time. So. Another emerging star looks. This person was born August of 2001.
Oh.
God, I just got real. I just felt
technically alive. But yeah, okay.
Did you say technically? You were technically alive?
No, God, no, them. I'm sorry. I have this. It's like whether I consider you older.
9/11. No, that's fair.
I knew 9/11 is like that cutoff to where, like, if you're born after 9/11, you are young to me.
Dude, I got somebody. There's somebody who works for me right now, and doing the math, I think they were born in 2000 because I've mentioned 9/11, and they're just like, no. The way that they talk about 9/11 is, I think, the way that. It's the way that I kind of think of Vietnam, where it was vivid and fresh to my parents, but I grew up with the show MASH, you know.
Exactly. Well, and I saw
Did you watch MASH as a kid?
No, I never watched MASH as a kid. Like, I knew what it was, but I never watched it.
So my parents were straight up hippies, like, well, wannabe hippies. My dad was a CFO eventually, and my mom grew up like in a country club. Shocker. But they were in Ann Arbor, Michigan in the 60s. So they were part of they were there during the civil rights movement. They were Kennedy kids and all that kind of shit.
Sure.
But they would talk about Vietnam and the reality of it all. And kids, if you haven't really looked up Vietnam, but you know Hunger Games, just imagine that. You know, these people like my dad and his generation, they sat around the TV, you know, during the draft, trying to find out if they were going to be sent to the military. It was a real thing. So, like, you guys have it good. You know, quit your bitching. But but the show MASH with Alan Alda and that crew became emblematic of that generation. It was big in the 80s and the 70s. And the final episode of MASH was like one of the highest rated TV shows of all time. Still might be, if not one of the top 5.
I think it's up there, yeah.
And so, but the song everybody knew is like ba 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 ba. I did not know what the words to that song were until I started watching Family Guy. Do you know the words to the theme song of MASH? And it's not the song wasn't written for the show. They adopted it. Song.
Sure, yeah.
Suicide is painless. It brings on many changes.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Oh my God. Like, could you imagine like CBS or NBC, this week on Modern Family, and then all of a sudden the song rolls. I don't know. I found that fascinating, but it was Stewie Griffin, him and Brian in the Family Guy movie. Him and Brian get hammered on martinis, and as they're getting drunker and drunker, and the olives are piling up on the table, the final one, just like he starts singing, "Suicide is painless," and he sings the whole thing, wild. And then Brian, right on, man. Right on, then Stewie gets a DUI, etc. That's how we got here.
The adult TV shows that I grew up watching as a kid was it was Friends, it was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, those were the ones that were my parents always watched. You know, so that's what. But I did just look up because I want to see. I don't think this is in any particular order here. As far as the most watched TV finales of all time, because you mentioned it, so I was curious. So
absolutely. Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, these don't have a number rank to them right now, but I do find some of these interesting because, Cheers is on there. Obviously, fantastic final episode, fantastic series. Breaking Bad's on there. MASH is on there as well. MASH is in this order, ranked 4th. Friends is on there, like I mentioned. The Sopranos, Magnum PI, Seinfeld, Home Improvement, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like some classic ones. Some of the more recent ones, Breaking Bad, I think I mentioned that. The Americans, which I found surprising that that's up there too. Like, there was a decent show, but I don't think I ever finished it, honestly. Parks and Rec is on there as well, another great show.
I love that the top 20 most watched television broadcasts of all times are now. I've got the top 20 list of most watched telecasts.
Okay.
Some rednecks burning rubber in the street behind, like way off in the distance.
Yeah, that's.
And then there's, excluding Super Bowls, there's a list of most watched television broadcast by average viewership, and then there's like the highest rated, and it's MASH. I think where's the highest rated one is MASH, and then after that,
yeah.
So that's funny that you grew up in a slightly different era, because like I grew up MASH, Murphy Brown, Moonlighting, Cheers. You referenced Cheers. That's a crossover there.
I love Cheers. Cheers is one of my all-time favorite shows. I loved it so much.
I get so emotional. Like, I can't watch the final episodes of shows. Like, I'm a West Wing fanatic, and I've watched the series, I don't know, 50, 60 times, whatever it might be. I had episodes on earlier today while I was just doing some work. And but when it gets to the series finale, which is called Tomorrow, gotta skip it. I just go right back to the pilot and start it over again. Cheers is another one like that. The final scene has been floating around my social media in the last couple of weeks, and I can't watch it. I get choked up with Sam, and then somebody comes to the door and they're knocking, and you do. When I was in, I want to say I was in high school, maybe middle school or high school. I'll never forget this. It was Michael J. Fox. They had just announced he had just come out with his what does he have? Parkinson's? No.
Oh yeah, it's in the park. I thought it was Parkinson's.
No. What the fuck does Michael? Hey Siri, what disease does Michael J. Fox have? Parkinson's. Okay, I don't know. I thought it was something different than Parkinson's. But when they announced that, and then he was gonna have to get off the show, it was called Spin City, and it was like show. Yeah, he was on there for 4 years.
Yeah.
It was almost like a West Wing light, because it was all about working in the mayor's office in New York, and it was about the staff, and it was kind of it was like news radio, this kind of quasi comedy but serious drama. And when he had to exit the show, it was Macy Gray's song, "I try to say goodbye and I choke."
Oh, God,
and he's like walking walking down the street. I was like started bawling, because I was like, and then brutal. Charlie Sheen came in to fill that role. Charlie Sheen, and it was like Heather Locklear they introduced to the staff, like good distraction from the short guy with Parkinson's.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what I was just watching a show. Oh, it was my kids were watching The Sandlot. So we were watching The Sandlot, obviously.
Oh, so good.
Such a good movie. I never realized until just watching it this most recent time, the stepfather of Smalls is Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
I never realized that.
Don't you love that shit like that jumps out at you later in life?
I do love when it happens, because it makes me feel reconnected to the movie somehow. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I noticed something I never noticed before, and I don't know, it's fun.
Dennis Leary had a good run too. What was that show? I think it was on FX, where he was a firefighter.
Show? Yeah, that was. What was that show called? What was that called?
Because that was it was in the wake again of it was a 9/11 kind of in the wake of that show about firefighters, and we were trying to bring that back when firefighting was cool.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
Dude, shout out firefighters.
Oh, Rescue Me. Great.
Yeah.
That was a really good show. That was a very good show.
Rescue Me. What would you say if I had to say, like, all right, you got to go, let's do the exercise. 1 year. You have 1 year, and you're going to be isolated. You have everything you need. You're in one of those like Mr. Beast situations where he's going to put you in a house with all the food, everything you need. It's not going to be a struggle. You can order Uber Eats. You can do all this kind of shit, but you're going to be cut off from society. Meaning you're just going to be, because there really was a guy on Fox News, Greg Gutfeld. He did a show like this recently where he recruited people to go isolated for 90 days. And he did it right when Trump got inaugurated. And then he did 90 days later, he brought them out. And then the game show was he just listed things that had happened in society, and they had to
Right.
decide whether it was real or made up. It was fucking brilliant.
That's actually
The
brilliant. Yeah, I
point being,
like that.
if that's you and you have to be isolated, but you can take like a television series with you, what would you take just to have available for 90 days to watch whenever you want to
Oh,
be
okay.
entertained?
So you're not having me be isolated in a year with only that stuff for a year. You're saying what would I take from another
90
year?
days, 6 months,
Okay,
a
I
year.
see.
What's something reliable? Like for me, it's easy. It's The West Wing. I can watch that for the rest of my life every day. Probably will. It's
Right.
gonna be fine.
For me, it is gonna be Friends. I've watched Friends.
Really?
I've seen the entire series of Friends
Oh, of course.
start to
Multiple
finish
times.
probably 10 to 11 times. Like I've watched it straight through. The only other shows that I've done that with, that I can watch over and over again, start to finish, were Cheers, which we've talked about. But then the other one might surprise people. The other one I could watch start to finish anytime.
Sex in the City.
No, although good show. But no, it was Scrubs. I thought Scrubs was fantastic. I loved it. I could watch that. It's just such an easy watch.
I could that's on a list for me. When it was what are we 56 minutes in? So a good camp friend of mine from Tallahassee, Florida, that again I think I've talked about him before. His name's Christian, and he was the guy I went to Pinehurst with last year. We lived together down in Gainesville for I don't know a few months back when I was fresh out of college and teaching and bouncing around.
Yep.
Oh, that was the year I was a kindergarten PE coach.
Oh,
Anyway, my lease, like I was living in a friend's house that was on the market, and they were living in Bermuda, and they're like, it's not actively, we're not really trying to get rid of it, but we're not trying to like save it as a rental. So me and a friend of mine lived there and just basically had cheap rent and just had to get out of there if they ever did want to show it. Well, somebody sold their fucking house in March, and I needed a place to live for a few months to get till the camp season. And he was working at the camp at that point. We were buddies. That was our ritual though. Scrubs on fucking repeat. We would throw darts and then we would either watch Scrubs or 24, Jack Bauer.
Oh yeah, 24.
Ooh.
That's another good one.
I
Yeah.
can go back and get into again.
When it comes to like action or drama shows, things like that, those are usually I can once through and I'm fine with. Because like part of the action and drama, like I need that initial shock or surprise of a situation.
Yeah.
Like you can only get that once, and then I'm done with it. But like lighthearted sitcoms, comedy, stuff like that, I can watch that because there's usually some sort of punchline I missed or small detail. Because there's always something that I'm gonna find funny again or find funny for the first time.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir. My love for everything Aaron Sorkin is again. It's because it's not gimmicky, and I'm not saying
get him
that
on the show sometime.
we'll call in some favors and get Mr. Sorkin on here. It's not gimmicky, or it's not about the shot. Hell, he writes movies that are based on true stories. Like how it end. His whole thing is about the language and how it's written. Because that's why I could sit there and watch The West Wing over and over and over again. Because to your point, I'll either all of a sudden pick up a joke I didn't hear before, a line I didn't hear before, or because I've watched so much of his stuff across so many different like formats, movies, TV shows, plays. He reuses names, he reuses locations, he even reuses fictitious countries. There's a country that he just made up called it's like the Republic of Equatorial Kundu. And he used
threw canoe in there.
Kundu.
Oh, Kundu. I thought you said canoe.
And like people say it's Kundu or Kundu, the Republic of Equatorial Kundu, but it's this fictitious, place in Africa that he's used in different places. So I guess anything that Aaron Sorkin has written, I guess I could take on the island with me. There you have it. We got there. Oh, a couple minutes left. Anything newsworthy coming from the football world?
I mean, as far as the Patriots goes, they've had some injuries. We'll see. Christian Gonzalez, we'll see how his injury works out. There's been some injuries along the offensive line as well.
Is there any hope for those guys this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's hope. They get their.
You're a realist. That's why I take it. I'm a fanboy. Like the one thing I know is golf. Everything else, I'm just a fan.
The Patriot fanboys are going to tell you that they're gonna win 12 games this year because their schedule's easy, and that's the only reason why. And because Mike Vrabel's the coach now. I am a realist, and I say, I do expect them to be much better than 4 wins like they had last year. I still think that realistically they're probably more in like the the 9-win range. 10 might be their realistic ceiling in my eyes, because I think they still have some growing pains. But yeah, no, I think there's some. What we're at least going to get this year is entertaining football week in and week out, which is nice. So we shouldn't have like the season be written off by week 4 kind of situation.
No, but speaking of week 4, September 27th, 28th, that weekend, mark your calendars, kids. We got the Ryder Cup. You got Georgia, Bama, along with about 3 or 4 other top tier college football matchups.
I'll be
and then
fresh
you got some
back from Punta Cana. It'll be great.
God bless you. So, all right, set your calendars every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Go ahead and like, subscribe. If you miss us here, catch us Wednesdays on the Spotifys and the Apples, anywhere you can find the Golfer Gang Network on your podcast. Shout out to our friends at That Sports Podcast Network. As always, I'm Bud for Andrew LeDuc, aka Mr. Mallard. Good night, folks.
The pilots landed this time. I'm jumping.